Halloween vlog special. I've never done something like this before, but I thought it might be kind of fun for the spooky season to share a personal scary story time. I also thought it might be kind of fun to show you what Nick and I are doing for our couple's costume this year. We decided to do something a little more cartoony and funny than we did last year. Last year we did Mary Poppins and Bert. This year we decided to go the something a little more comical to us, and we went with some characters from the Fairly Odd Parents. He is going to be going as Timmy Turner, and I am going as Trixie Tang. If you don't care about the Halloween costume, you can skip to this timestamp. That's going to tell you where the story time actually starts. I think I got just about everything I need. I got the purple, fake turtleneck because I didn't really want to wear a real turtleneck. I know hers in the show has got like this big poofy collar, but I didn't quite know how to do that, and I wasn't going to try to go all out for, the third Halloween costume for this Halloween. And I know she also wears a headband, so I was actually going to cut off the sleeve and use that as a headband around the head, just to make sure also that they're the same color. That's something else I was worried about, and save a little bit of money, of course. I got just a plain white skirt, and this is actually from my closet. Yeah, plain white skirt, very simple, big skater skirt that would go at the bottom of that. She wears these big white boots, which I thought was going to be nearly impossible for me to find on the cheap, especially for kind of a just a simple costume. So I actually ended up getting these cool things called boot covers, and they're these elasticy bits that go over your shoes to make it look like you're wearing boots. In the comments on Amazon, these looked like they were mostly used for something like Power Ranger outfits, but instead I'm using them as Trixie's go-go boots, and I just have a pair of simple pointed toe shoes to wear underneath them to make the toes look pointy like they are in the cartoon. And the last thing I have is, of course, the dark wig. Let me tell you, black is not my ideal hair color. I don't think it really works for me, but I had to get one with the bangs. And I also thought this would be really great to eventually trim up. I got the long one, of course, for Trixie. I can see the bangs there. I will put it on shortly and kind of show you all the pieces on, but got the bangs, and it's a nice kind of long hair. She needs a brush. But I was going to cut this into a shorter length and then possibly do an Edna Mode or a Tina Belcher kind of costume with this, so that I could use it more in the future and for multiple Halloween costumes to get the most out of my money. Here is what the wig looks like on. It's a giant change for me. I'm definitely not a straight across bangs kind of person. I have been in the past, and it's just not the look for me. But basically, I'll just pop this over the top to give me that Trixie look. Probably go this behind the ears more ideally. You can totally tell that this is a wig this way, but pop it back behind the ears like this to make sure I look somewhat the part. Then I would put this on, of course, and I'll show you how the boots work, but if I can, I will try to insert a picture of the done thing here if I have it. If I don't, then you can actually go follow me on my Twitter at BrieY and see the Halloween costumes when we actually dress up on Halloween. So the boots are pretty simple. You just put on a shoe. I've got my pointy toe shoes here, and then you grab one of the boot covers here, and it's got this elastic here and the part that goes under the ball of your foot, I suppose. And so all you gotta do is just pull it over, extend this down to where the sole of my shoe is. I think I overstretched the elastic just a smidge, but it's fine. The look's still there. That's what's important. It's all about aesthetic here. And you'll just pull the boots all the way up, and it looks like I am wearing a white go-go boot. And of course, next part of the costume is super simple. Bright pink t-shirt with a matching baseball cap and a pair of jeans. So again, if I don't have the picture inserted here, it will be up on my Twitter and probably my Instagram, so you can follow both of those to have a little update on what the couple's costume turned out like. Okay, time for the story. So I have a lot of pretty crazy stories, at least I think, about creepy guys on the internet. That always seems to be how it goes, but right after my high school sweetheart and I broke up, we were together for 4 years, and he was my best friend, and we unfortunately drifted apart somewhere right at the beginning of my junior year of college. And I was sort of trying to put myself out there a little bit more, and I had joined the website Meet Me, or at least I had an account back when it was my yearbook, and it was kind of like marketed for connecting with your classmates. So it had that, and it had recently changed to Meet Me, so I started using it to just interact with some new people around the area. I wasn't necessarily looking for a relationship, but like I said, my ex was my best friend, and losing him, I lost my best friend and I lost a boyfriend. So I was really looking for really any friends or any human connection I could at that point. I did get a handful of really inappropriate messages that grossed me out beyond belief. But none of that came even close, not even remotely close to this one particular guy that actually made me quit the internet for about a complete week. So my university had a really big program with Thon, as I believe that what it's called nationally, but it is a dance-a-thon for the Mercy Children's Hospital, where all of the donations that we get over the course of the year would go to benefit the Mercy Children's Hospital. And it was a huge event, and we had obviously dancers every year. There was a big bike-a-thon every year, and performances that went through the night, because it was normally a 24-hour long event, and everyone who was dancing had to be on their feet for 24 hours. While I never danced myself, I did participate as the entertainment. My dance team would go in and perform every year. And so someone messaged me on this website and said that, and asked if I'd ever heard of it. And this guy was, I think, 26 or 27 at the time, and I was about 20 years old. He said to me, he asked if I'd heard of the dance-a-thon, and I said I had, and that I'd actually performed at it a couple of times. He responded by saying, "Oh, wow, well, I actually was one of the miracle children, I think is what they're called, back when I was younger, so I'm like really attached to it, and I love talking about it." And I was really interested, because I'm sitting here thinking, wow, what a really cool opportunity, someone who's been on the other side of it, someone who has actually been, you know, has experienced something positive from the donations that were provided. So I asked him a couple of questions. I asked him, you know, what it was like, and you know, for as much as he wanted to share, I thought it was really, really interesting. And that was all good and fine. And eventually I just said, okay, well, I'm gonna go to bed. It was nice talking to you, whatever. And so I wanted to go to sleep. That's actually when it started to get kind of creepy. I put my phone down, said goodnight, whatever, put my phone down, and I mean, it was probably around midnight at this point, and I think it was a weekday, so I had to get up and had class the next morning. And he replied to the message with, I mean, paragraphs, like absolute paragraphs, long, like no punctuation, took a hot second to really read and understand what they were saying, kinds of paragraphs. And this first message, I wish I had saved it, but I mean, I actually deleted my account. I got rid of it. I don't have it anymore because I didn't want it anymore, and I didn't want any evidence that this had actually happened. I guess I never thought that I would be putting it up on the internet like this. I did actually post a story on the Let's Not Meet section of Reddit at one point too. I'm stalling. I don't want to talk about it. He started telling me that he wanted to take me out, and that he thought that we would make a really good couple. And I was pretty much kind of like, you know, no, I'm not really interested. It was really great talking to you, but I was definitely looking for friends and some sort of companionship, and if that turned into a relationship, sure, but I definitely didn't go in initially wanting anyone to ask me on a date or whatever. And so I replied and I said, okay, that was a lot, because it was a huge paragraph, just about how like he really thought we'd be a great match and all this, and it was already uncomfortable, and I guess I was just trying to be nice because we just had such a decent, like, normal conversation that it totally spiraled into something else. And I tried to kind of say I'm going to bed, like, no thank you, I'm sorry, like, yeah, I'm just not interested, whatever the case may have been. And then it got worse. he started telling me that God spoke to him, and God told him that we are going to be together, whether or not I realize it. Eventually, I was going to be his. And my heart like sank. It's sinking right now. Like I can feel this like weird knot in my stomach where it's like I'm physically cringing in pretty much every way, but trying to kind of maintain a face for the camera, I guess. So it's working out okay, but I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling because I can't quite put into words how uncomfortable this was, especially knowing that this guy knew where I went to school because we had a brief conversation. He knew that I did this specific event. He knew that I was in an organization that performed there every year. He knew the name of the organization. He asked me what I was majoring in, and I told him that. He had a lot of information about me that I suddenly was super uncomfortable with him knowing because I didn't know what he was going to do with that. He told me even if I wasn't with him today, if I wasn't with him tomorrow, eventually I would figure it out, and I was denying God, and I was disobeying God by not being with him immediately. And it just got very uncomfortably religious. And he told me actually the reason, as I was kind of trying to leave this situation and explain to him that I was not comfortable with this and whatever the case may have been, he actually told me that the reason he was so certain that I was the woman that was going to be his wife was because when he was little, he said when he was 6 or 7 years old or something, he had a dream in which he, or some sort of vision or something, or God spoke to him. I don't totally remember the context, but he said he learned the name of his future wife and his kids. And he told me that he still had the sheet of paper that he wrote the name of his future wife and kids on. And he said that his future wife's name was my name. He said that on that sheet of paper he had written Brianna Ray. Now, of course, I realize that could have obviously been false. I'm certain it was false. There was just no way. But it was still wildly unsettling to imagine somebody like, writing my name down on a sheet of paper for whatever reason at any time, and naming our kids, and it's gross, frankly, to think about. And I ended that conversation right there. I blocked him, and I went to bed. Unsettled, of course, with like this giant like vomity feeling that I still have right now talking about it. I went to bed, but that wasn't the end totally. He actually messaged me on Facebook the next morning. He found me on Facebook and sent me a message asking why I had blocked him and why I was denying God and all this. And I just absolutely freaked out. I mean, I basically deleted any social media app from my phone. I blocked him on anything he tried to contact me on. And I just got really scared of having a public presence online. Now, that's not to say that I had absolutely none. I did obviously get back on the internet. I am currently on the internet. But for a few days after that, I was like terrified to be alone. I was terrified to touch my phone because I was afraid I was gonna like log into Instagram and have a bunch of creepy messages from him, or him telling me that he wanted to kill me or something because I was denying God and denying our future and our fate, our destiny of being together. I probably should have just blocked him immediately. I made my roommates stay home with me for the next couple nights. I'm pretty sure I didn't stay the night alone at the apartment for a while. And I had 3 roommates at the time, but, they had lives to live, and eventually I kind of let that go once I felt like I was safe. As far as scary experiences go, this is probably, like, one of the most unsafe times I've felt in my life, or most unsettling experiences in my life, because, I mean, it's one thing when you know that something's going to happen and you can prepare for it, but this is one of those situations where I just didn't know. Hi, honey. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to come looking for me. I didn't know if he was going to do anything. And that, I think, was the most scary, and I mean genuinely scary part, is feeling like all of your security is just tossed out the window. More than anything, I think all I really wanted to say was I hope you are all so safe this Halloween, and I hope that everythh goes well and your kids get their Halloween candy, and or you get your Halloween candy, and your cat loves you, and all good kinds of things happen. I am only sending out positive vibes to you guys to have a fun and safe Halloween night. Because I don't think anyone should have to feel like they're in a bad situation or feel like their security has been compromised. I hope you enjoyed my spooky Halloween story, my scary story. Yeah, I don't know if this is something that I will keep doing. I think I tend to ramble a lot and get off track a lot when I'm telling stories because I feel like I'm missing details or whatever the case may be, but if you like the story time, I do have a lot of them on a ton of different topics that I would love to share with you if given the opportunity, but only if you want it. So if you do, leave it in the comments. Other than that, leave a comment with what you are going to be for Halloween this year. I'm so excited to see some costumes from you guys, and hopefully I will be seeing you on Sunday with another video. Bye.